So we got the Jeep locked up and loaded. It's back from the dealership. We are going to be installing a couple more items for the Jeep to getting it ready for the road trip that's coming up next month, actually in just a couple weeks. So a couple things we got to install today. Also, I want to check for the Corvette. I haven't driven it since the last video I think I uploaded. That was a week ago, last Saturday. So haven't driven the Corvette in a week. I want to see what the battery voltage is at. I'm just actually genuinely curious to see where it's at, how much the battery has drained over a week. So we'll see. I want to go check that out. I do have to, there's some parts that are actually here for this vehicle. Our friend who ordered, so I'm going to throw them inside of this thing. So I'm gonna have to get this guy moved. Kind of just put some stuff in here, so let me do that real quick. I also periodically have been just starting this thing up, just to let it run, just to, you know, make sure this battery doesn't die. But now, before we actually see what's up with the Corvette, let me show you guys the stuff we're going to be putting onto the Jeep real quick. Big things I wanted to get was an extra gas can, and with this one I can lock it and mount it to my roof rack. So that's for sure a thing I want to get installed. It's not a huge one, but it's just enough. I think there's like what, like 1 gallon. Oh, so it was actually 1.3 gallons. So that's actually a little bit more than what I thought. I'm only going to run this when we're on the road trip or when we're out. I think it's nice to have, only because of for our last trip when we were on our way back to LA from Buffalo. And for us, we usually like taking back road, country road. I always like avoid tows, so that's just the way like I like to travel. And so a lot of times we're on like these long stretches where it's just a 2-lane highway. You're just out in the middle of nowhere. And I remember just on our way back, it was late at night, probably like 2 o'clock in the morning. I think I was driving. We were coming back. We were at like maybe a little bit under half a tank, and I'll say, okay, cool, the next gas station, that's when we'll stop. I usually always make sure that we stop and fill up whenever we hit around the halfway point in the gas tank. This time we were out in the middle of nowhere, and the first gas station that we went to, it was closed actually because we were out in the middle of nowhere. And that made me just a little bit nervous because of I had to keep going for a while to the next gas station, and that one was still inside like a real small little town, and that made me just a tad bit nervous because we were traveling for a while, and the next gas station was inside of a little small town, and it was still late at night, and I wasn't sure if that one was going to be open at all. Luckily it was open, but yeah, so we probably got down to maybe like a quarter of a tank. We still could have gone for, you know, a while, but I just like to have a little extra gas just in case any of those type of situations happens. You just want to make sure you have a little bit more gas. It's also one of the reasons why I didn't want to get the diesel Gladiator, only because of getting diesel sometimes is harder, even though you have more, you know, mileage, and I guess I could always bring more gas tanks with me. So you know, I mean, you just have to plan accordingly, and I do understand this is kind of a me issue. It's not really everyone's issue because I like to travel, you know, off the beaten path and like off the main interstate. So I understand that, but you know, you get what I'm trying to say. Another small thing I want to install is just another little extra storage compartment. I have one inside the Jeep right now that goes on the driver's side. This one just replaces it. It'll go on the passenger side too. Have a little bit extra storage. A sunshade for the front windshield, so if we do stop and sleep in the car, which we probably will for one of the nights or maybe 2 of the nights, who knows, we can always just pop this up inside the front windshield and everything would be good with that. And then I also do have some extra like LED motion sensors. I don't know if I'm going to bring these or not. I'm going to see. I might. If we do have to stop somewhere, I can always just put these up on top of the Jeep. These are just like cheap like solar panel ones that just charge. If it detects any motion, they just light up. So it's nice to have just on top of the Jeep, on top of the roof rack, just, you know, if we're sleeping somewhere, we can have that extra security. Cool, so we'll be installing that stuff, but first things first, let's see what's up with this Corvette. I have no idea if this thing has any battery left. Let's see. First test, see if it opens. Oh, it's opening. Power on in. Oh, wait a minute. The security light went off. Let me show you guys. Oh, never mind. It just came right back on. Is that boy We actually have to go to Disney later today, so I think I might honestly take this guy. I'm not gonna film for the theme park channel. Theme park channel is always linked down below, me and my wife's channel, but I think we might take the Corvette out just because I want to like just drive it a bit. So we'll see. I just want to make sure everything's going and starting and everything like that. So that's good to know. I'll let it just run for like a minute, and then we'll get installing all this stuff onto the Jeep. Okay, so after looking at a couple tutorials, actually, I was trying to find something, but they're not that in depth. It's actually not that bad. Basically, you have to just have this system. It goes straight up and down. When this thing is in there, you can't turn it. Like, you can't turn it. I'm going to just tighten down some of these bolts, and I believe I should be able to just mount this right onto the roof rack. So I bought the can and also bought the roof rack mounting system. I'll have links down below, but it comes with other rubber grommets, so you can like swap those out. I'm gonna probably run this on top of the Jeep because we do plan on running a cargo, not a box, but a cargo bag on top of the Jeep to have extra storage up on top. So I'm gonna have that up on top. I'm gonna put it on there for right now. I just want to see how it feels. I'll probably drive around with it on just for a little bit, just to see, make sure it's not too noisy, anything like that. But then like when I'm just normally driving around in the city, I'm gonna just take it off, because even though it was locked, I just don't want to, you know what I mean, like don't even take that risk, you know what I mean. It's like not even worth it. So I'm gonna take it off, but I'll just put it on for right now. Okay, cool, that's installed. I put it on the side because at first I had it on the back. I thought that'll be best for, you know, aerodynamics, but I'm like, oh yeah, I won't be able to open up the rear hatch. So moved it to the side. I'll see how it is. I'll just drive around with it for a bit, see, make sure it doesn't move around. Only negative thing is I have to be careful with, I had to flip the mount so it kind of mounts it a little bit more flush. The Jeep right now is 7'1". I don't want to make it any more taller than it is. It's just a clearance just to get into places. So that's like the only thing I am noticing. So we will see how it goes after, yeah, just driving it around. We'll see. If worse comes to worse, if it's like absolutely terrible, I don't want to put it inside the vehicle, but I could. But we'll see. The plan is to have a whole bunch of extra like stuff inside the cargo box, or bag I should say. That'll go up on top like normal. We'll have the barricade up. The dogs can go inside of the trunk area, and we'll build that off for them, so they'll have like their like area where they can just lay down and just like chill out. And then we'll use the back seat as a switchable bed. So we usually pack the floors with just stuff, and then, you know, you can lay down, or sometimes we swapped and put all of the stuff, like our stuff that we carry with us inside the vehicle, inside the front seat, and so the back seat's just completely clear and you can just use this as a bed. So the plan is to drive through the night for maybe about 2 of the days. We have to see how it works out, depending on when we leave, depending on when we get there. So it is pretty much going to be like, we're going to be driving like straight. So we got to get everything situated with that. But now that that's installed, we do have to, I just have to install the front like little thing and just to clean this whole area up. Oh, and if you guys remember from like a while ago, I do have those little air pack things. I forgot what they're called. They go over the windows. So if you do park somewhere, you can still have your window rolled down, but it has like a screen up. So like, you know, flies and stuff like that can't fly in. That's a lifesaver for sure, especially if you're doing any type of like camping or urban camping or anything like that. So you can park, pull over, get some ventilation, but like bugs can't get in. That is a 100%, that's a great modification to have, especially for that type of application. We'll say this little compartment is definitely smaller than this guy, but it does kind of clean up this whole area up a bit. I do want to clean this whole stuff up. I gotta clean this area up a bit, but and get my wires kind of managed a little bit better, just tucked away a bit better for my radar camera, for my radar and for my dash cam. Need to get that a little bit tucked, you know, just tucked away and making that look a little bit better, but that definitely feels a whole lot cleaner now, and I can just use this and stuff this guy into here. Keep that, looks a little bit cleaner. And then for this guy, I'll store this in the back. But yeah guys, so also really quickly, got the Jeep fixed from the dealership, all new brakes all the way around, 4-way alignment, oil change. They did this fluid top off on everything like that. It turns out that there is an issue. The issue is though one of the dampenings is leaking, I believe. So they ordered the part. They said they don't know when it will be in. They special ordered it. They said they have no idea, but they'll let me know whenever it does come in, and I can just bring it in and get it installed. So that kind of sucks, but at least for like right now, the Jeep is driving great. I'm really happy to have it back. It's been a while since I've driven the Jeep, so it is nice to have it back inside the stable. But yeah, so we're just getting this thing ready, just to going on the cross-country road trip. I'm really excited just to have some prep and just kind of get this thing up and going. But if you guys haven't seen this video I did a while ago, the last time we were getting ready to go on a cross-country road trip, check this video out as I did the prep for the Jeep, getting that ready for a cross-country road trip. Check that video out. We'll see you in the next one. See you guys.